I have bits and pieces of knowledge, you know, that I have acquired over time. However, and this is the disclaimer, I'm not like a fucking engineer. When it comes to like technical nerdy shit, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. If you want to know about music theory, I'm not your guy. If you want to know about compression and that kind of shit, like, I'm not your guy for that either. Now, I can kind of share with you techniques that I've learned, developed. I have been making beats for about 20 years. I do know a couple things. What do you want to fucking know about? How do you do bass lines? All right, that's a good one. I'll just make a beat, but I'll make it fast so that we can get to the bass line part. Yeah. What I do is I just find like what's the lowest note in those chords, and you just have to use your ears to do this. So if you can't do it like straight away, because I couldn't do it straight away, I had to like develop my fucking hearing. You just have to practice, find the tonic. I'm not a fan of like sparkling water, so I'm just listening to this. Okay, well, I know what I played like with my fingers, so I know that like that this one is this. I know that it's that. Okay. And the next one is that. Okay, so there's two notes I need to play. I know that for the first chord, this is the bass. And then for the second chord, it's this one. Okay, A flat and D sharp. I'll like play around and I'll figure out what the notes are that work. This one, you just have to use your ears again. But I know that I can only play 7 notes at a time. Okay, so I know that I can play these notes. Alright? And that's it. That's it. That's it. All I need to do is just as long as when this chord plays, it needs to be here. It needs to be on that one. And then on the second chord, it needs to be this one. Okay? Do you understand? Alright, that's my bass line. There, done. And it works. That's how I do it every single time. How did you get so good at the piano? I practiced. What bass sound is that? Rickenbacker. What about when using a sample? Okay. For the most part, it's the exact same process. How are we gonna make a bass line? Turn off the fucking drums. I'm trying to hear like what's the lowest note I can hear. And this might mean that I need to pull out my piano and just like use my piano as a tool. I'm trying to like listen to what I can hear. Alright, here we go. That's the lowest note. And the second lowest note is actually this. It's the same one again, but we can go up 2, 3, 4, 5 notes and it sounds okay as well. Right? Down, 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 down. 2 notes. Okay, let's go to my fucking bass. Alright. Two notes. Do you want me to like keep going? Because that's quite a boring bass line. But technically, it's a bass line. It counts. Is a bass line the last thing you make when you produce? Not necessarily. Sometimes it's the first thing. It depends every time. Your source material, right? The sample, is always going to be different. And it's always going to be made up of different shit. Different sounds. Different combinations of stuff. So, you work, adapt accordingly to whatever the sample is. When the bass lines move away from the root notes, does it matter if... I don't know what a root note is. Can you swing it? Of course you can. Make bass lines more interesting. Okay. We can do that. Let's try and make the bass line more interesting. What are my drums doing? What my drums are doing, that's gonna like help me determine what my bass line's gonna be doing, you know? If you don't know what to do with the bass line, like just see what the kick's doing. Like what's the kick doing? If you just follow what the kick's doing with a bass, it's a safe thing to kind of fall back onto. Okay, well our kick is just on the 1, so that's quite a boring, but let's change the kicks, okay? Boom, ba, boom, 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 ba, boom, boom, Well, okay, so even if I just follow what the kick's doing with that same the two note bass line, like already that'll sound more interesting, all right? It's 2 notes, right? But we can just go an octave higher. And then that's 4 notes. Okay? So now we've just doubled our bass line like notes, okay? Now we can just alternate between, all right? What did I do? What did I just do? Let's just record this bass line real quick. Let's just listen to the bass line. All I'm doing here, okay, it's still 2 notes, but there's that little thing, all right? So all I'm doing, I'm just going 2 notes down. So 1, 2, all right? And then I'm just flicking them. Does that make sense? I'm sorry, like my language is like not like proper, you know, like technical language. But you know what I mean when I say I'm flicking the fucking bass line, right? It's just a little flick. I don't know what the fuck you call it. It's called a flick. Now we do it on this one as well. Okay, so 1, 2. So I know that I can flick those ones. Use 2 hands if you fucking don't know how to like do the proper fingering. And then we got our octaves, right? So that's 4 notes. And now we got these extra 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we got 8 notes that we can play. I can play all of that anywhere I want. We can go like this. We can go. And then I know I need to get to here. Well, we can go back. We can go down 2. And then we can do this thing like a little crawl up. Am I getting confused? I'm starting to confuse my fucking self. How to translate practical to theory. Yeah, it is. Because I don't speak the language, the standardized language, music theory. Did any of that did any of that not make sense? I asked earlier about tips to develop ear training. I don't know. How I did it was I would play music from the radio and I would try and play along. And I just did that for fucking 10 years. That's how I developed my ears. This is your tool, right? Like this is all you need. Like if you don't have fucking like perfect pitch, you know, like this is all that you need. You can work this shit out with this. So let's just put on a song, all right? This one, right? Okay, this is a song on the radio. Okay. I'm just listening to the bass line, right? What's the lowest note doing? There's 2 notes. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Now. That's what the bass is doing, right? So let's try and look for it on the keyboard, all right? Is it this one? Is it that one? Is it? I think that's it. No, it's not. I'm fucking tricking you. Is it this one? It fits, but I don't think it's the bass line. Is it that one? Yes, it is. Yeah? No. All right. No. There it is. Okay, and there's another one. All right, here we go. That's the bass. And that's literally where it starts. Practice trying to do that. Trying to figure out what the bass line is. Hip hop music is just loops. It's a loop. It's not complex. It's not fucking jazz. It's 2 chords. Holy shit, masterclass stream. I don't. We'll just call it class. What about just shit class? Just take the master part out. We'll just call it the shit class. Are we all good? Can we move along?